Always wearing a black shirt, I swear. It's my Miffy shirt. Hi everyone, my name is Maddie and I am studying at university. Wow. Um, I'm studying a Bachelor of Visual Communication and Design, majoring in graphic design. I just finished my first year of my degree and I love it. So I wanted to talk about it and just share what I've learned so far and give you a rundown of what my degree looked like for me so far, because I think it's really important that people can have these kind of videos. I love gatekeeping, but I feel like gatekeeping is really evil and awful, and so I try really hard to like do the exact opposite of gatekeep and share everything with everyone. So this is that video. I think it's really important to share any knowledge like this and just resources with the community, specifically in the creative sector and in design. I feel like there is still a lot to be talked about and learned. I just thought this would totally be a video that I wish I could have seen before I started. And yeah, I just wanted to share what I have done this year basically. A couple things, disclaimers before I get started. I think it's really important to mention and talk about the fact that as an Australian, I am studying under a HEX help debt scheme, which means that there is virtually no upfront cost to studying at university for Australian students. And this definitely plays a huge part in my ability to go to university and afford that, as well as pretty much everyone I know. In the US, for example, where you have to take out student loans, and the debts, to my understanding, are a lot more impactful. This is not the same kind of deal. That like it really depends what country you're in. But for Australia, if you were thinking of going to uni for anything, for design, I would really recommend it. It doesn't have to be one of the big unis, just your local uni. It's really just good to get an education and meet new people and get some industry experience. I found it incredibly fun and rewarding, and I have learned a lot. So I would really recommend it if you're in Australia. Outside of Australia, I cannot really say one way or another. It is just your personal situation, because the financial burden of getting an education in other countries is definitely not the same. We're very privileged here. There is still a debt, but it is not as impactful immediately upon studying as it is in other countries. So definitely something to think about and potentially take advantage of if you are in Australia, because it's really not something that a lot of other places have, and we are very fortunate to have more of an accessible opportunity to go and study. And the other thing I want to say, every uni is going to be different, the courses are going to be different, curriculum is going to be different. This is just what I did at my uni, and I am going to go into some detail but not overly specific. This is just a rundown. I don't really want to be like sitting here reading through my assignment briefs. So now I'm going to start looking kind of downwards because I have to look at my screen. I'm so sorry. But I will be doing that for the remainder of the video. So in the left corner, I have put a little note of my degree, what I did in my first semester and what I did in my second semester. That is a little overview list for you to refer to, but I think it's really just best if I jump in and kind of talk about things as I go. I've gone in and like changed file names, by the way, just so it doesn't have like my name and like all the crazy stuff in it. I don't really want to talk about what uni I'm at. If you know, you know. I don't think it's really important. So these are also kind of in no particular order. I take some electives and then some core courses, of course, so I will try and remember which are which to the best of my ability. Starting off with textiles, this was one of my elective courses, and I wanted to do this because I really like textiles, obviously. So the course specifically is called Foundation Textiles in Print Media, and we did half textiles and half print throughout the course. So it was like 5 or 6 weeks one thing, 5 6 weeks the other thing, split evenly into two. I wish I liked this course more than I did. I found it to be a really high workload compared to and in addition with my other courses, and I felt like I couldn't work to the best of my ability because I had 3 other courses to work full-time on as well. Um, I just also found that some of the things weren't as interesting to me, and what I'm kind of finding so far in my degree, I think because it's a creative degree as well, is if I'm not interested in something, like, you do not have my attention. Like, I don't want to do it. So this was from the print section. This was one I was really proud of. It's just a little bat that I carved out on a foam block and then printed. Um, just an example of something that we were doing. I was also really proud of these stencil prints that I did. I think I spent like an hour cutting out a stencil on like some really flimsy plastic and then came in and rolled the prints on it. And that's Edward Scissorhands, if you couldn't tell. So this is like a full spread of what I had going on for the textiles part of the course. There's like weaving, coiling, macrame, crochet, embroidery. Oh, the felting was really fun. I really liked the felting. Different stamping, using textures, and then this was printing on fabric. My favorites from this are probably my Edward Scissorhands print and then the stamps and the felting. I really like, yeah, that section of things. I am proud of those, but everything else felt, I don't know, I felt iffy about. That was kind of most of the spread of stuff from the textiles and print portion of the course. One other thing that I kind of ate up low-key and thought was really fun was the darning, which is a method of repairing fabric. And I repaired one of my studs that has a huge hole in the sole of it. And low-key, it was really fun. And I want to do it again. That course was fun, but I feel like I didn't give it my all. I don't really feel like I had the option to, but I think it was still worth taking. And it was kind of a good small class for me to be in during my first semester to kind of settle in. The next course I took was a mandatory course, and this was a mandatory course for basically all creative sectors within my university, and it was creative collaborations. It was fully group project based work, and we were making short films. And I feel like this class almost killed me. I already don't like doing group projects, and coordinating multiple people together to try and film things outside of assigned class time is really, really difficult and really stressful. This class stressed me out. I made one good friend out of it, so maybe it was worth it, but like we kind of low-key trauma bonded, so I'm not going to show you anything from this class. I'm not proud of it. It's very university project. You get the vibe. But yeah, I had to make 2 separate short films with 2 different groups of people in the course. Next is visual design principles, and this was taught by my favorite teacher, and it was also just one of my favorite classes. The design brief for this class was to create a beverage, so that was like the brand identity, packaging, and it was just kind of a crash course in anything from typography, colors, using Illustrator, making mock-ups, just a lot of the fundamental basic stuff. And I wasn't sure about this class at first. I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. But I was like, let me tap in real quick. I feel like I could cook. So I did indeed cook, and this was like my first time ever touching Illustrator, and I feel like throughout my degree I've learned a lot of programs really fast because I've just had to kind of undertake them really quickly with quite little explanation and just go and Google the rest. And I don't know if I'm particularly just good at navigating Adobe programs or like what, but it actually has been surprisingly easy for me. And it was one of the things I was most afraid of. So I would say please do not let learning new programs hold you back, because I know still a lot of people in my course are very, very scared to go from Procreate to Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop. It's going to ruin you in the long run. You need to know them. You might as well just get the learning curve out the way. And I feel like the first year is just forgiving and a good time to learn. So this was me just literally giving it my all and playing around in Illustrator for a very long time. I was like, how can I make this interesting to me? Mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Do I eat them? No, not really. Do I read books about them? Yes, or like all the time. I own like 3 books about fungi. So I was like, well, like, do people drink like mushroom beverages? So I like Googled it, found out mushroom coffee exists. I don't drink coffee either, so like this whole beverage, like I would never ever consume it. But I was like, well, like it's gonna be interesting to me now, and I have a vision. And that is the important thing with this shit. Like as soon as you have like a very clear vision that like goes with the brief, like you're set. So I was humming and hawing, and pretty quickly I was like, mushrooms, and let me also make a reference to something. What am I gonna make it a reference to? Earthbound. So I was like, those little walking mushrooms called the rambling mushrooms. That's gonna be the brand name. That's gonna be the drink. If anyone gets that reference, the mushrooms in Earthbound. That's the inspiration. That's the vision. So that's the brand name. Rambling Mushroom. There also was like not another brand already like named that. So I was like, yes, like I found like something unique. I made this little guy who's walking. He's walking. And for the colors, I went kind of earthy, but with these pops of color. And I was experimenting with different fonts and everything. This is kind of the iteration of everything. Trying to get that look and feel down. This can layout that I have here, I spent so long like struggling with, and I hated the way it looks still. But this is not the final layout, thank God, because it's ugly and I already knew that. And I was like, I'm gonna push it further. This was just like a initial concept. So I kept going. This was my final submission, so I had to go in and explain everything and pull all of my assets and lay them out in this document as a presentation or like a brief for a client kind of thing. So this is a selection of my logos, the color palette, and then the brand's typefaces, everything that was used on the packaging. This was my final can wraparound. I was so proud of this. I still kind of am, but it's kind of starting to look a little, I don't know. I'm not as confident about it as I was. Like something about it is just starting to look ugly to me. I'm like, oh. But yeah, as you can see, I full got into Illustrator and I found the 3D inflate effect, which I actually think works well for this, so like sue me, but I wanted to try it out. Yeah, we had to just put all the info on the can and whatever. This took me hours. This had to have been like 8+ hours of work just fiddling around and trying to get it to look good. But I still am proud of the layout. Like, I think it does look pretty good. Honestly, it's just the colors that are throwing me off more than anything. And then below that, that's a really like premature mock-up of the can. This was my more high quality rendered mock-up of the can with a forest background for the vibes. And then we also had to make accompanying merchandise. So I made a poster with fungi facts on it and then made a mock-up of that poster. And honestly, I think this poster is still really cute. Something about it is kind of off to me, again, like the can, but like it goes with the brand really well, I think. And I like the concept of just having a poster with facts on it that like people could put up in their house. Like I would literally put that in my room. And then this was like my advertising poster mock-ups. Gave the brand a little catchphrase, and she's hip and cool. She is. Here's another mock-up of what that would look like if it was plastered on a giant wall. But yeah, that was kind of it for that project. I'm still really proud of it, to be honest. I think I did really good, especially for my first time in Illustrator, first time in Photoshop since like 2016. Yeah, I feel like I learned so much doing that project, and I am really proud of it. Honestly, now that I'm looking at it, the design is still pretty good. Like, but yeah, that one was really fun to do, and to see everyone had to like present all their like concepts and stuff too, and we have like final pinups, and so I got to see what everyone else was doing, which was really cool. And there's so many talented people in my course too, which is very, very inspiring to me, and makes me feel very competitive and keeps me on edge and keeps me going. So my last course of this semester was digital practices in communication, and this was another mandatory course for my degree. The brief for this course was basically to make album packaging, so front and back cover for a vinyl, the I forget what it's called. I always forget what it's called, but the circle sticker for a vinyl, and promotional motion graphics, and then a promotional website. And we had to choose like a copyright free song, which I thought was going to be a huge pain, and it kind of was, but I was able to like keep randomizing on like Free Music Archive until I found something that I was like, ooh, like I kind of like this. So we had to also do stuff like use a color palette, make a logo. I don't know, there was other stuff, but anyway. I am also still very proud of this one. I really like how it looks still. I love the colors and I love the vibes. The images are just from like the British Library Museum archives or something, so like free use. I wanted something that was very haunting and ambient. The song's very ambient and reminds me of being in like a cave. So I wanted to embody that. But anyway, that's the front. And I am really, really happy with the back too. The back, I put a photo of the artist, Kathy Lowe, a description that was on her page about the song, and I just made it cohesive, front and back, and I really like it. I'm proud of it still. I think it's really cute. So I also had to make motion graphics. I'm not going to show that because mine's like really bad. After Effects. I never want to touch you again, but I probably will have to. We also had to make a printed physical mock-up of our cover. This is what mine looked like. She's a little rough around the edges, I'm not gonna lie, but you kind of get the vision, you get the idea, so it's fine. I also felt like that class was a huge crash course, especially for Illustrator again. So in tandem with the other course I was doing that was really heavy on Illustrator, I feel like I got a really good grip on Illustrator, and also this one I used Photoshop quite a bit too, I think. So I was definitely starting to get the hang of things, was doing very, very well in my courses. So that was my first semester. Then my second semester. Now for my second semester, which I just finished up, I did commercial studio photography, which was basically a crash course in DSLR photography, and I have always wanted to learn how to use a DSLR camera, not on auto mode, and this course was so fun for that. We had 3 assignments. The first one was a series of 4 portrait photos. The second one was a series of 4 product photos, and the third was advertising campaign that could be a blend of portrait, products, either one, kind of just whatever you wanted. And they were just all done in the photo studio at my university. I'm not going to show my first assignment because, again, I'm only showing what I'm proud of because I don't want to embarrass myself. I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to embarrass myself. So this was my second assignment. This was product photography, and I did the Glossier You perfume just because I had it on hand and I love that perfume and talk about it all the time. And I felt like I had a vision in mind. So I was using colored gels on the lighting, something that was just really dark, moody, kind of like a night out, very sparkly on the highlights. I went into Photoshop and made the sparkles kind of like the X-shaped sparkles, as you can see, like very dramatic sparkles. I wanted the background to look like it was one of those red velvet curtains, and then I just wanted it to look very like sweaty, like skin, because that makes no sense, but it's like your skin, but it's supposed to smell different on everyone based on your skin. And this one actually like looks hella good, not gonna lie. But yeah, I feel like the sparkles are a little bit much. I asked my teacher about it and he was like, no, like it's good, but I don't know, I still not sure. But Glossier You, that was my little product photo shoot. And then this assignment I just finished up literally like last week, and it was the ad campaign. I chose COS headphones because I wear them all the time, and I had a look at their social media, and it's the most bland thing ever. And same with their website, all the photos and everything is so bland, and they have such a rich history of really good promotional photos and advertising from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and I'm just so surprised that they just completely dropped that basically. This one I'm really happy with. Love the sparkle, love the reflection. Didn't edit the sparkle at all. It just looks like that. Also, I learned so much about photo editing from this course, which was like great. So this one I am really, really proud of. I think it just looks really pretty and really cool, and I like the focus on the headphones. And this is the last one I'll show. It's the most product-centered photo, I think, but I love how it looks. I love the shine on the gloves, the headphones, I love the background. It turned out really nicely. I'm very, very happy with it. That course was really, really fun, and my teacher for that was so good, and it was just a very good class, very good group of people, and I feel like I learned a lot from it, and I feel like it's very easy to gain confidence in studio photography when you are taught the very, very, very basics, because basically every photo looks good if you have the right settings because it's on a DSLR. My next course is Interaction and UX Design Fundamentals, and I feel like it's more of a core one that I could have picked for my major, and I was like, ooh, like I want to know how apps are made. And I'm not going to show you any of my work for that because it's not bad, but I'm like not proud of it. But we had to make basically like a tourism location app prototype on Adobe XD. Adobe XD was like reasonably intuitive, but like not intuitive enough where I was like, so like how do I implement any of these features? And I would look it up and still not have an answer. I was just kind of like, oh, like no wonder why like all the annoying people do like UI UX that you see online, because like it's for the freaks. I don't think I'm built for that. I am kind of shocked at how like scarily easy it is to like build an app and like prototype an app though. Yeah, I made an app about the yokai village in Japan, so I made like a little encyclopedia and audio guide. Honestly, I just wasn't really happy about making a tourist app. Like, make me make an app about anything else and I would like probably be happier, but like I don't want to do like a tourism app. But anyway, it was fine. Next is visual design projects. I loved this class. This was taught by the same teacher who taught my visual design principles class, so that's how you know it's going to be cooking. This class was like an extension of visual. I just realized visual design principles is spelled wrong on the folder. This class was like an extension of visual design principles, but instead of just the basics, it was taking it further in terms of concept. There's a lot of work on getting a really solid concept and then building off of that, extending that kind of as far as you can. So for this class, we had weekly tutorial exercises, which were just really small random projects like making a poster, making a book cover, that kind of stuff with just a basic prompt. And then we had two more major assignments. So the first one was making a restaurant or bar design. So it wasn't very, the brief isn't very specific about like make this kind of restaurant, whatever. It's just do what you want, pick the clientele, you know, pick the price range. Glistening bells are so cool, and also I just love lights and I love warm lights. And I used to hate orange. I still kind of do, but I think that's really hypocritical because like look at this. I don't think you hate orange. I think I'm lying to myself. But I don't know, there's something about the vibe of orange that like It got me, I'm not gonna lie. We had to develop a mood board, so I was looking at different typography and logos and also just the vibe. Very warm lighting, as you can see, just very mid-century modern 1970s, and I love this aesthetic and I love listening bars, and I was like, let me combine that into something that I want to go to desperately. I want this to be real so bad. I would go here literally every day. So I remember I had a really strong vision in my head for this and a lot of different logo like references and inspiration to go off of, but I was really struggling to establish a look and feel for the logo. My strongest idea for a while was either using the vinyl, but I felt like that was too on the nose, or the Japanese onigiri as the A, but I was like, that's still too cringe for me and I still wasn't liking it. Went into Illustrator, did some more, was still like, no, they're ugly. And then I went searching for some fonts and I found this font. Cannot tell you what it's called, to be honest, but if anyone wants to know, I will find it. But I found this font. I named the bar Amber, but got rid of the E just to like condense it some more. And I feel like a lot of businesses will like take a letter or two out to make it have a unique name that is still like one word, but it's like more searchable. I found this really blocky font, and then using the same proportions as the letters, I made the vinyl cover and then the vinyl coming out. And I wasn't sure about that at first because I feel like it is pretty on the nose, but honestly, it does look really good. I still really like this logo a lot. We had to design menus, which was really fun and I really like doing. For the drink, I took the I out to make sure it was 4 letters like amber and 4 letters like food. So I put a wine glass on the drink side and then I put an onigiri on the food side. And this is your menu. I want to eat here so bad. I want to drink here so bad. But yeah, we got to pick what we wanted to put in the menu, the prices, whatnot. And then I did like a side A, side B thing because it's double-sided. And I put little copy text at the bottom too, which I thought was really cute, and I'm still really proud of that. And then yeah, here's the food side, side B. I kind of wish I like flipped this mock-up or texture that I was using so it didn't look like it was the same on like both sides, but and then these were the social media posts and mock-ups of those posts that we had to make. We had to make a series of 3 posts advertising the opening of the restaurant, which I thought was really cool and exciting. So this first post was inspired by an illustration or two that I saw on Pinterest of some older illustrations about how to hold a vinyl. I just thought it fit the vibe really well, so I drew my own. I'm so proud of these posts. I still think they look really cool. I should also mention these are like in order of like how I would post them. And this one is like the full name reveal, some little text. I think it's really cute. I also made this profile picture that is like the little vinyl label. My third post, I made a playlist and said these songs plus many more tonight from 5 p.m. So just giving the people a taste of what they can come and listen to. And I really like this one too. I wanted it to kind of just look like old stationery basically. And then this is a mock-up of what that would look like from the profile. I love the bio. I think I did really well. This is definitely the project I am the most proud of this whole year. I just think it's so cool and I literally want to make this bar real. And then we also had to do a piece of merchandise of our choice, and I chose matchbooks because I thought that went really well with the theme and I just think they're really cute. Put some illustrations on there that I did, and yeah, made a little mock-up of those, and I hope that I don't look back on this in like a year and think it's really ugly because I think it's really cool now. But my other assignment for this class was to make a board game, and this kind of killed me. I don't really play board games. I don't really like board games, which I know is kind of evil and sinister, but I'm sorry, I just don't. And so I was really racking my brains for this one for quite a while. And I settled on making a game about collecting the CMYK ink colors to print something. I thought that was like unique enough. It gave me a very set color scheme. My main inspiration for the illustration style, once I like landed on like the fact that I have to do illustration, was the Powerpuff Girls, which you can definitely see in the pink illustration that I did, or the cyan illustration that I did. Girl, that is the professor. That is the likeness of the professor. But the other two I just like came up with. The one on the right is low-key a self-portrait kind of. Yeah, these are like the three genders basically. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't want to talk about how the game works because I'm sure there's like a million things wrong with it. I don't want to talk about it. But we had to do the board, the front, the back. I did an instruction sheet which wasn't required, but I felt like it's kind of needed. We had to design player tokens, and then I also had to do other tokens that went with it. This was the additional artwork I did, and then this is kind of a final mock-up. I just did like the tokens, the box art, and then in the background the board. People really liked this. Like we had to do like player testing and stuff, and when I was talking about this and showing people, they really liked it, which was cool. Like I wasn't expecting people to like it as much as they did, especially like the illustrations. I felt like it was a very rushed job, but obviously like the vibe is there and they saw the vision. So girl, Hasbro did not actually buy this, by the way. We had to put the Hasbro logo on it. My last class was typography, and this is also kind of very much related to my major specifically. So not everyone I know took this course. For graphic design specifically, I think it's pretty important. We had two assignments for this class. The first one was to make a font, and the second one was to make a printed booklet. I'm not going to show you my font because it is the ugliest thing in the world. I tried to make a black letter typeface and it looks really bad. Really, really, really bad. That was a struggle for me. I think it was a little bit much trying to get first years to make a font from scratch. I just think that's really hard and it was rough. My second assignment, I was kind of cooking at first and then it fell off, but I'm still going to show it or parts of it. But we had to design a publication, and the requirements for this was that it had to be printed. It was A4 size so that it could fold into, A5 size so that it could fold into an A4 booklet. We had to bind it, which was just stapling it. We had to use the letterpress that is at my university for some of the type or aesthetic features in the publication. And this was done in InDesign, and I actually quite like InDesign. I thought so, but up until this assignment, this one kind of, InDesign kind of betrayed me a little bit. Also, the publication had to relate somehow to the letterpress. It could be literally anything, but thematically it had to be about the letterpress. So I was like, well, once again, let me cook. What's something I read about all the time? The witch trials. So I made a publication about how the letterpress impacted the witch trials, which I thought was actually very interesting to research. We also did not have to actually write for this. We were allowed to use AI to create the body text because it's more so about the formatting and everything than anything else. And I was initially going to do that, but I feel really weird using AI. I don't like it, and I do not agree with using AI, and I try and avoid it whenever I can. So even though that would have made it easier for myself, I did write this whole thing, and it was worth it. I don't care. So this is the front cover. I called it the Printed Witch, and I used the two V's instead of the W because back then they didn't have the W yet. They were using two V's. So I was trying to be historically accurate. So that's from the letterpress. And then the other main feature that I used, which was from the university letterpress, was these little lowercase X's, and I used them as kind of like a ASCII cross stitch thing. So I made these goats. This piece took a really long time. I made, it's a historical woodcut. I forget what it's called, but I literally like recreated that with X's. That took me genuinely hours, and I don't know why I did that. And I got about like halfway through and I was like, this is like genuinely crazy, but I did finish it. I don't know if it was worth it. Whatever, there goes like 6 hours of my day. Here's like the title contents page. The PDF I'm showing you is formatted to CMYK colors, so it is like a bit more muted, but I kind of like how it looks more muted than the RGB version anyway. This is the first page. I really like this page. I really like just how it looks. I think it looks really good. And I really like this page too. This page is kind of just a wall of text, and I do like the quote here, but I don't know. I was already struggling to like keep it up the vibe from the first 2 pages. Same with this one, same with this one, same with this one, same with this one. And then that's like the back cover. Oh, that's the last page, and then this is the back cover, which I do like the back cover too. I think it looks cool. But these 2 pages I think are sick. I really like this one especially. So that was my course. This video I think is actually gonna be a lot longer than I thought it would be. A lot of editing for me. Feel free to ask me any questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Whoa.